Welcome to Before the Bat, the Gotham podcast, your guide to the TV show Gotham and all things Batman. I am Phil, and, well, of course, Kelly was here the last 2 weeks, so who do we have? We have Tyler.
That's right, and it's not by any kind of circumstances that Kelly and I are not wanting to podcast together. It's called schedules.
Kelly's out of town.
But it's okay. It's not just me and Phil this week.
Right. We have the other co-host of the Krypton Report, the Supergirl podcast, with us.
Hey guys, Jania here.
That's right.
That's right.
Welcome to Before the Bat, Jania.
Well, thanks guys. Appreciate it.
Not a problem.
I appreciate you guys having me on board today.
It's going to be fun. We also have the good man, Mr. Solo, in the background. He's excited. He's trying to learn words so he can talk about Gotham.
Yeah, definitely.
And Supergirl. There's this weird look in his eye when he watches Supergirl. He might have his first boy-girl thing going on.
No. It's way too early for that, Tyler. Moving on.
He's 9. He's almost 10 months, Ginny. It's time.
God.
Yeah, don't have him watch Gotham for girl stuff. How weird was this episode? I mean, they were like selling girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I guess this really was Gotham.
Yeah, gosh. Very dark.
But it was... Man, this episode was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Just a whole... I don't know where to start. Might as well start at the beginning. So can we call
Butch
Butch...
on his rampage?
Can I, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Butch. Captain Hook.
Captain Hook. Captain Mallet.
Captain Stub.
Poor guy.
Oh, so you're going to hand it to him?
I was just like, man, Penguin was like, I got an idea. I was like, holy crap. Just cut Butch's hand off. I'm like, that's Gotham, I guess.
Well, yeah, that's what we were talking about last week. It's like, are they trying to get the ratings up? Because, they've seemed to get on a lot more violent this season.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Like the gratuitous, chopping off of limbs and severed heads and nuts.
I guess that's Gotham.
Yeah.
Or even the craziness of just Tabitha, period. When she had, she came to dinner with a little blood spot on her face.
Yeah.
And then we got Michael Chiklis trying to throw down the commish. Nobody remembers that show from the 80s, 90s.
I kind of remember it.
Yep,
but
my parents watched it.
Is there any chance in hell he's not 30?
See, I think he's kind of what Gordon's supposed to be, and where Gordon's kind of compromised himself a little bit this year. It's kind of reminding Gordon what he's supposed to be and who he truly was. Because even he says, this is Gotham. And I can't remember his name. Chiklis is basically it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's kind of getting Gordon back to that mindset of, he's right. This is Gotham, but we should still do what's right.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how Bruce is having his boy-girl thing where he's just blinded by silver? He's just like...
Well, he's a teenage boy, yeah. I guess we're going to see where his trust issues come from.
Yeah, and Janine and I were talking the other night, and what's interesting about Bruce's character is Batman really doesn't have any, when you say, love, you have Clark and Lois, there's the Oliver and Dinah, but Batman just has a, rose gallery of women. There's no single woman that is the ultimate love for Bruce.
Yeah, well, I guess you can just make the point, he's kind of damaged, and, can he experience, real love?
Exactly. So, it's this time we got Silver. We got Selena, who's out doing her own thing, just bugging around. But this episode, I don't know, it was good, and I liked it. The Galavan character is good but annoying. I really want something to happen. I guess my thing is I just want Batman. Okay, let's just be honest. They're doing so much setup of all this stuff, and I'm just like, oh yeah, this is so good. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, Bruce is still a kid.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of the whole show.
But then, like, we got, all these penguin, all these, like Phil said before, like, so they're making these villains, but yet the cops so far are able to handle them. We need to start going crazy to where the cops can't handle anything.
Well, I think this episode in particular, kind of set the whole feeling for the entire season. How I think it's going to start getting worse. I think it's going to start getting to the point where they are crazy, you know, and the cops can't handle them. I definitely think this show in particular was the starting point for that.
Yeah, I said they need a costume vigilante on this show because like every other DC show has some kind of hero. Supergirl, Flash, Arrow. Everyone has that somebody in a costume. That's what this show needs.
That's why this show just feels so awkward compared to the rest of the DC TV series. Do you think we'll see? Do you think we'll see Jean Paul Valley Sr.?
Maybe, because I mean the Order of Saint Dumas is coming and. I guess Court of Owls is still in there.
That's what I'm kind of like. I thought Gallivant was going to be like a precursor to like being part of the court, but since they were
so did I.
Since they revealed him to be part of Saint Dumas, I'm like, okay, so that threw me for a loop. But okay, so we'll get Saint Dumas. We get maybe, like I said, John Powell Valley Sr. And there's your could be like your hooded assassin who looks like he's straight out of Assassin's Creed. Running around knifing people.
Oh yeah, I want Azrael versus Talons. Yeah.
Oh my god, that would be sweet. That would be a battle. And Bruce just watches. Like, you know what? That's a good idea. He's like, I should put on a costume.
Well, I said I think Gordon should put on a costume eventually. That way, that kind of explains why he so easily works with Batman later on. That
would be interesting. I mean, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. He sees the broken system. I'm just, maybe something crazy will happen where Singularity will open up in Gotham and, Flash will run through and he'll bring, Batman from Earth 4 or something. And be like, oh, alternate timeline.
That's funny.
It's like, boom, here goes. But let's talk about the big part of this episode.
Which was?
Nigma's date.
Oh my gosh.
It's like last week, man, what a great, it opens with Nigma is happy and Kringle likes him and everything's good and he's just becoming such a wholesome guy and you enjoy being around Nigma. And then what happens?
No,
he has to bring.
I felt like it was coming. I knew it was coming, right? When he asked her to go and have the date with him, basically, at his house. I'm like, yep, something's going to happen. He's going to tell her. She's not going to like it.
Then saying, hey, I killed the guy who, he could have even dressed it up a little bit like it was self-defense more. But no, he's just like, I killed him.
He's awkward. He doesn't know how to talk to women.
Yeah. Reminds me of someone else I know. But, it was one of those, he was just like, yeah, I killed him. See, look, here's his badge. And I thought that was interesting because it's like, they always talk about serial killers who have trophies of their kills. Mm-hmm. And I never saw Riddler much as like a murderer killer. He was always more of the intellectual villain. But he has a trophy from his kill. And I thought that was just very, the way he killed Kristen, I liked. It made sense. Because it was like he was just holding her, back, and he was trying to, tell her and explain everything to her. And he didn't realize what he was doing until it was too late.
It just seemed weird, though, because it was, 2 seconds after she's dead. He's like, oh, she's dead. Ah! And it's like, you're not going to try CPR or anything?
No, he just wants to look over he just wants to look over the sky and yell no.
A very cliche scene.
Yeah, at least he didn't yell con. That was the part right after I was like, oh, that's how they killed him. That's cool. That works. And then he does the no. I was like, see, even Solomon agrees. He's like, it was just rubbish. Mm-hmm. He's like, no, do something different, Nigma. Hear the riddle, You know what was a little good about this episode?
What, Tyler?
Not that much Barbara.
Oh, yeah. I do like where they...
kind of...
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, she's just back to where she was in season 1, sitting around an apartment, like, really not doing much.
I know, she lost her partner in crime with Jerome, and now she's back to being a set piece, and they're not sure what they're like. We made Barbara crazy. Awesome. What do we do with her now?
She's kind of sitting around.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they know what they're doing with her. She's just, like you said, a set piece.
I think it'd be cool if she starts, like, I think it'd be sweet with her character if she starts harassing Lee. Like, messages, little things here and there. Like, just really build this tension that she's coming after Lee. Because she made the comment about, in a year or so, Jim and I will be back together. So, it'd be neat if they kind of took her that way. She becomes this, like, force against Lee.
Yeah, but, I mean, poor Lee. I swear her days are numbered. I mean, even in this episode, Selena has a gun on her. And
I like how Jim just walks in like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, I know. Gets a beer, yeah.
And he didn't even say, like, she set herself on fire. He's like, Selena's like, you were supposed to protect her. And Jim's just like, it didn't happen that way. It was an accident. He couldn't have been like, yeah, I did, but, she lit herself on fire. I couldn't stop her from lighting herself on fire.
You could have tried harder, for sure. Said more.
Because she was so smart and, like, tried to set a car on fire. Yeah, that's going to go well.
Yeah. I'm going to set this car on fire while I'm leaking.
Yeah, she saw herself leaking. I mean, I don't know why anybody would do that, though.
Well, she wasn't all right in the head.
Right.
Yeah, unless she was trying to kill herself, and now, as we saw in the end, she didn't, so that's just going to make her more crazy.
She's at Indian Hill. Is that something from the comics, Phil, or is that something from the show? Like,
I don't know. I was trying to think, but it wasn't ringing a bell with me.
I was trying to look up stuff, and I just couldn't find anything on Indian Hill. Like, the only reference was earlier when they talked about it, when they were doing the whole property thing between Maroney and Falcone last season.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
They talked about Indian Hill.
Yeah, I think the big thing is it's just the part of Wayne Enterprises. That's
Bunderslaw's missing. No one seems to have addressed that yet, except, Gallivant says something about Bunderslaw. And Bruce is like, oh, okay, that's fine. Hey, there's Silver.
Yeah, there's Silver.
Bruce must be part werewolf. He's weakened by Silver. After all, he is part bat.
I feel like I'm with Kelly this week.
Somebody's got to be funny. But, man, there's so much I want. Like, it's such a weird show. Like, it's such a balancing act. It's like, when you're watching, like, all the adult characters, you're like, yes, this is so good. And then, like, when it cuts to Bruce, you're like, this is so good. But then you're like, it just doesn't mesh well. Like, Batman's going to be, like, 20 fighting 40-year-old Riddler.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And 40-year-old Penguin, which that works, I guess.
Yeah, the Penguin works, for sure.
Then we're going to get Mr. Freeze here soon.
Are we?
Yeah.
Wow.
They just cast Mr. Freeze, and they cast Hugo Strange. Phil, can we just take a moment? What is your thoughts on Hugo Strange and their casting choice?
Yeah, I don't know why they went that way, but I do like the actor. He actually played a psychiatrist on Law and Order SVU, so he's played a psychiatrist before.
You mean he's done more than just Jurassic Park and Jurassic World?
Yes.
Huh.
Now, what actor are we talking about here, Tyler?
They cast B.D. Wong, the scientist from Jurassic World, to be Dr. Hugo Strange.
Ooh, weird.
Different.
Not who I would have expected for that.
But I think it'll work. I mean, it definitely is different.
Yeah.
But I always thought a really cool storyline with Hugo Strange would have been the idea that after his Bruce witnesses his parents' murder, he goes into therapy, and a young Hugo Strange is his therapist. And in some way, Hugo Strange helped shape his psyche to be Batman. So they have this very mentor-mentee, but also, villain and hero relationship. But it's more about the idea that, you have this elapse of time, though, from when Hugo meets Bruce, and it's not till later that Hugo discovers that Bruce is Batman because of something from their sessions. But I always thought that'd be kind of just a way of making an origin for Hugo Strange that doesn't feel too like just, oh, hey, psychotic doctor.
Yeah.
They could still kind of start that here.
They could. Does anyone else feel like Bruce doesn't really feel that affected from his parents' death? Like he doesn't feel that tormented and like messed up from his parents dying? I mean, not that I've ever had my parents die or anything and shot in front of me or been through a traumatic experience like that. But he just seems kind of like, oh, it's okay. I got Alfred. It's cool.
I mean, I don't really feel like that we've seen enough of Bruce to be able to, like, really judge that, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, it could just hit him, you know, all of a sudden he's going to snap at some point and we'll see it.
I mean, he's still a kid, you know, there still needs to be that level of innocence to a point, you know. There's definitely a lot of development as far as, like, you know, his physical side and everything, and he has a goal in mind, and you see that, but it's not as dark as, you know, the actual Batman, you know, in the future and everything. But I think that over time, obviously, what happens in Gotham, maybe what happens with Silver, you know, things like that, watching Selena, those things are going to darken him to the point where, you know, I don't know, he looks back at his parents' death, and it is a darker situation for him, and, you know, he dwells on it more as he gets older.
I think in that same vein, like, maybe some scenes of, like, he has trouble sleeping, like, he has flashbacks to it, like, even, like, just night terrors towards the death, or even like, maybe some sort of deranged fantasy where he has one, like, dream fantasy where he wishes he would have been shot too, so he didn't have to live with this, and then later it's turned to where he has a dream fantasy where he saves his parents. Just the idea that his mind is still dwelling on this, it's still working through it, and it's still something he can't shake. Because I think I always had this idea that, like, with Bruce's character is everyone else, like, for instance, like Dick Grayson went through a tragedy, but worked through it. And I always felt like Bruce never allowed himself to work through it and get over it. He always forced himself to relive it and not deal with it, like, healthy.
Right.
Like, you know, Dick was always able to deal with the death of his parents and then move on. But Bruce would always force himself, you know, into the dark place. He would never let himself work through it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, because Dick used his tragedy to build himself up into a better man. Bruce doesn't want to be the better man.
Exactly. So I just feel like I want to see that child. Like, where is that child right now? I don't know, but what are some of your thoughts, Phil?
Well, at the end, when Butch came in and he told Oswald he knew where his mother was, do you think he's really leading him to his mother, or is it a trap? Has he been turned by the Galavans?
I think it's a trap. To be honest, I wonder. Okay, so Butch went through all this, like, psychological conditioning and everything.
Yeah.
But what if when his hand was cut, like, it just, like, kind of broke him and snapped him out of it? Because we know that Zaz used, like, torturous devices and everything to do that to Butch.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if the Galavans, like broke his conditioning, so now he's all mad at Oswald for using him.
And that's what I'm wondering too. Like I said, like that traumatic experience of having your hand chopped off so brutally, that I could definitely see where that could spiral and really backfire on Oswald. I wonder if they're gonna kill Oswald's mom.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, they're bringing in his dad.
That's why I wonder if that's why his dad shows up.
I don't know. They're
like, Oswald's mom dies, so Daddy comes back to town, or, you know, something along those lines.
They killed your mom, son. Ah!
I'm the Penguin. I don't know. This season, I like this season. I like the rise of the villains. This is one of those shows, like, it's an ensemble show, so there's so many, like, little storylines, and, like, the plot gets moved. Like, did Bullock even do anything this week?
Yeah, he interrogated Ivy, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right. He shook down the child, Ivy, and got a little bit of information out of her because well, oh, man, what was it he said? About...
Something about a candy bar?
Yeah, like, and she's like, cracks. Heck, dude,
I know, like during the live tweet, I was like, a candy bar? I'm like, girl, you should have held out for a whole meal.
for real, I'm like, a candy bar? Because I'm pretty sure, like, even as a child, like, candy is cheap. I could steal candy. Give me a steak dinner, cop, man.
Exactly.
Listen, copper, give me some steak. Give me, like, some, like, food. And where's Ivy living on the streets still? Like her dad, you know, is dead. Her mom disappeared. She's on the streets. So
I know, they like just let all these kids run wild in the streets.
here's a question for you, Phil.
What, Tyler?
What major, like I was saying, what major Batman villain hasn't been referenced to yet?
Bane?
Well, we had the whole Viper.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a Bane character. But I'm just sitting there thinking, like going through the Rose Gallery of people, like almost every major Batman villain's been addressed in some way.
Ra's al Ghul?
Yeah, please, can we not do Ra's al Ghul, please? Can we not even touch on the idea of the League of Assassins or Shadows? Can we just bypass that completely? I don't really want to see young Bruce meet young Talia. Unless we just do a scene where Bruce goes to school and walks into the wrong class, and it's just Silver, Talia, Julie Madison, Vicky Vale.
His head will explode.
Who else can we throw in there? Because we can't put Selena in there because she wouldn't be at that school unless it's like really a scene where she's like outside the window. He just walks in like, ugh.
Well, keep pushing. He's back in school. They need to bring back Cole.
Oh yeah, totally. I keep waiting to see if he's in the background somewhere. And like, and he's like, "Hey man, can we be friends now? Like, let's be friends."
Yeah, look for him anywhere in the background. Because I know when he shot his episode that one time, he was saying, yeah, they were shooting like a penguin scene across the street or something.
That's cool. It would be interesting to like just to have all these like, oh yeah, and Andrea Beaumont. That's who I was thinking of.
Yeah,
she's there too. Bruce is like, "Can I take this class?" And make it cheesy. Make it home ec or something stupid. Make it like women's studies or something. And Bruce is like, "I'll take this class." It's just Bruce in just a room full of women.
That's his life. I mean,
he's like, "I'm rich."
Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't need home ec. He has Alfred.
He's like, "I'm rich. I'm richer than all of you. I'll buy this school."
Nothing more dangerous than a 13, 14-year-old with money.
What is it like? He's supposed to be so rich that like even the other rich kids feel like poor around him. He's just like, I have money, but I'm just the man. I don't know. There's so much cool stuff they can do with this show.
Oh yeah.
At least they're not like. At least there's no like been any kind of real hardcore like foreshadowing pushes of the bat. Like they haven't used really bat symbolism or anything for him yet.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, no, I thought when he went down to the cave, there was gonna be like bats like flying out of there.
See, that I could have took and been okay with, you know, because that made sense to me. But I don't know. It just hasn't been as much like foreshadowing. I told you, I'm still waiting for him to do the like the candlelight promise of, "I will avenge you, parents. Nothing of this will not happen." Like, I think it'd be interesting if you saw Bruce like putting more money like in a funding for cops. Like, he's trying to help the correct way. You know, like he creates funds for that more. You know, cops can be hired, or a special like private security task force, Wayne Enterprise. You know. Where he goes about it trying to do it that way until he realizes that he can't trust anybody but himself, and he'll have to do it himself. You know, anything in those type of veins where you just see him being more active.
Yeah, I think he's going to see from Gordon how pointless it is to do it, you know, the right way.
People need dramatic examples. You know, as a person, it's one thing, but as a symbol, it'd be something else.
Thank you, Christian.
That's Solomon's Batman voice. I pretty much understand him more than I can understand Christian Bale's Batman.
Yeah, Solomon is Batman. Move over to Ben Affleck.
Oh. Somebody's going to be getting mail.
so badly wants to come over here and join. He's like, I want to join. What's going on? What'd you think about the episode, buddy?
No, it's
He's like,
quiet.
nothing. I was watching Superman.
Pretty much, actually. We started Gotham, and then we were like, oh, it's time for Supergirl. And then he just sat there and stared at the screen.
Tyler, don't be putting thoughts in my son's head before he can even think himself that way. Gosh.
Well, yeah, Tyler, he was mesmerized by all the superpowers. I mean, the flying and...
Exactly, Jania. Exactly. He looked up there and saw Daddy's symbol on the screen. I want to know why a girl had Daddy's symbol. That's what it was.
That's probably what it was.
Daddy, is that your sister?
Probably.
He's trying to figure out, he's like, wait, that's Daddy's symbol. What's going on? So, but yeah, any other final thoughts? We kind of just been tangential here with our Gotham thoughts and theories. And any thoughts, Ju, about Gotham in general since you haven't been on the show?
Oh, I know, right? Honestly, I just want to see more. I can't wait to see what else they're going to be doing in the future with the villains. You know, we know Gotham needs to get to a point where, you know, there's no helping it whatsoever. I mean, it's very, like, on the edge right now. But I think that that's what's going to push Bruce over and make him want to, you know, avenge his parents even more and, you know, avenge the city and help the city as much as possible. I think, like I said, this episode was an episode that's really going to be setting up the villains' stories, you know, throughout the rest of the series and everything. I think we're just now getting the tip of the iceberg with the Riddler and the whole situation, you know, with him killing Kristen. I think that that's going to push him over the edge, and we're going to start seeing more crazy from him. You know, it's been hinting at it a lot, but I think that there's going to be a lot more crazy.
You know, one thing that I thought about, Phil, when I was listening to your interview you did with Devin Grayson, was just the fact, like she said, and I thought about this, but I like the way she worded it, where she talked about, you know, with Gotham, they're making the villains so much more of Batman's a response to the villains instead of the villains being a response to Batman, which we've said before. But when she said, why am I blanking? When she said, you know, Batman always had that kind of burden of, did he help create these villains?
Yeah.
You know, and that's something he had to carry and deal with, was the idea, did he create these villains? And with Gotham, we're definitely seeing the complete opposite. Like, he right now has no role in the villain creation.
Yeah, that's like kind of what I told her. I'm like, that's the thing with prequels, you know, stuff gets changed up, and it's like, I don't know. A lot of times it's not that dramatic for me, prequels, because it's like, okay, this guy survives, this guy survives.
Oh, look, a new character that was never mentioned in anything else before. They're going to die.
Fish.
Exactly. And we called that from the beginning. We're like, fish ain't going to last.
Yeah, not forever. But I'm just curious. I want to see what the ratings are going to be this coming week with, well, you know, the first week, Supergirl, you know, of course, won the night. And it started at 8:30 with the Big Bang Theory lead-in. But now they're both going to be head-to-head at 8 o'clock.
Next thing you're seeing, check out Gotham on its new night, Thursdays on Fox.
Well, I mean, I think the thing about Supergirl and Gotham is that they're pretty different. You know, Supergirl is a lot lighter. It's going to be more family friendly, you know, but Gotham's darker and it's going to appeal to a different crowd, you know, honestly. I mean, all the superhero, you know, esque people are going to want to watch both shows. But, you know, the people out there who don't know much about, you know, superheroes and everything like that, you know, they're going to decide based on the feeling of the show, you know, the darkness or, you know, the feeling of Supergirl, you know, being happy and family friendly, like I said.
Yeah, definitely a lot lighter.
Yeah. For sure.
But anyway, people, if you're into live tweeting, every Monday night, 8 Eastern, I'll be live tweeting I'll be live tweeting Gotham, and Tyler will be live tweeting Supergirl.
I know, it's going to be really weird this Monday, Phil, because last Monday I was trying to tweet with you. I was watching, Solo and I were watching half of Gotham. But now we're going to be on complete opposites. So,
yeah. And I know Lilith said she's gonna be live tweeting Supergirl when it's on with you.
Cool.
Like at the same time, and then I guess she's gonna live tweet Gotham for the West Coast.
Oh, that's an interesting way to approach it, but it works.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Very cool. All right, Phil, take us out.
All right. Well, everyone, tell us what you thought. Did you like our guest co-hosts, Janaea and Solo? You could email us beforethebat@gmail.com. On Facebook, we're Before the Bat, the Gotham Podcast. And like I said, you can live tweet every Monday night with me at Before the Bat Pod. And where can everyone find yins? Promote Supergirl.
Yeah, check out our new show, The Krypton Report. You'll hear me, you'll hear Jania, you'll probably hear Solo too. He's a big super addict. I wonder why, but yeah, you can find us at Krypton Report on Twitter, and then from there all of our other links. You can find me, of course, at JTY Patrick, and you can find Phil and I on all of our other lovely podcasts. And of course, you can find Jania.
Jania Music on Twitter. And you can find Solo right here.
Follow my mom.
If you want to find Solomon on Twitter, just tweet me and I'll tell him what you said.
Yeah.
He's too young for his own Twitter. That's at least a 13-month thing.
Yeah, at least.
Oh yeah. Wait till he starts forming words.
He's already
Nuts.
I think maybe he'll get an Instagram first. Just pictures.
Oh gosh.
But, all right.
Let's get out of here.
All right.
So contact them if you want to hire Solo for modeling work.
Yeah, he's always up for it.
All right. Well then, until next week, same bat time, same bat channel.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
The Gotham Podcast.